Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to look at Ethereum. It's a cryptocurrency if you guys aren't aware. If you are, well, this thing is making huge moves along with Bitcoin. So I just kind of want to take a look and see where this thing is heading and where it's headed potentially short term. So as you're looking at this daily trend, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that this is turning into an inverse head and shoulders. So we do have a pretty solid breakout target of this thing. I'm going to try to break it down and see if we can figure out where this target could be. So I'm not super familiar with trying to figure out breakout targets of an inverse head and shoulders by taking measured moves, but I believe you would go the size of the head to the neckline. And then as far as the placement of the breakout, I'm not sure if you go from the breakout potential candle or if you go from the bottom of the shoulder. So this kind of could be not accurate. But if I'm correct and we're going to go, excuse me, we're going to go from the shoulder point, then $513. So let's take a look at the RSI here. I have a trend line that I've had drawn on here for a little while. And this top of this trend line here on the RSI, as you see, price has been respecting in between these lines. We seem to be getting rejected more often than not on this top line, but also on the bullish side, finding support at the bottom. So as you see here, we're coming up to test this thing for the third, maybe even fourth time. Now, as you know, when you do butt your head against support for so many times, it is bound to break. But if my speculation, so far it's just speculation, unfortunately, is correct, this could actually turn into an inverse head and shoulders on the RSI. So right now we do have bearish divergence, but on the 4-hourly, as you see here on the RSI, we are potentially higher on this right than the left, and on the price action, it's higher on the right than the left. Maybe it's. I'll have to take a look at that after. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here. Let me just take a look at the fib lines here. So as you see, we came up to this point here, the top of the trend, and we touched it recently. It looks like it's around 459.48, maybe even 458.43, something like that. Somewhere between 458 and 459. Now on the RSI, on the 4-hourly, it still looks like we have some more room to come up. So it's potential we could actually come up a little higher and have a breakout of this right now, but we're going to have to keep an eye on it. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of a short on my leveraged position that I have. And I'm going to take a quick risk here, and I'm going to put a sell order around 459 area. And I'm going to ride it down to the 0.382 with a stop loss at 461 and see if I can get a good short out of this. And if I'm wrong and it breaks up above, then I'll just get stopped out and lose a couple bucks. But obviously the risk to reward for a couple bucks lost versus many dollars gained would be worth it. Now, the reason that I think that this could be a possible rejection here, besides the fact that we saw that it's a potential inverse head and shoulders forming. Now, this is obviously on the hourly, but, sometimes looking at the smaller charts actually helps you draw a cleaner line. So we've been wicking down, and we have been coming into this. It almost looks like a bull flag in a sense, but it could be a rising wedge as well. So it depends on how you want to look at it. Now, if it's a bull flag, we're going to take a measured move. So what you would do is you would take a measurement on the part of the flag, the pole. So the size of the pole to the top. And I really have to check up on this for me. Now, I don't know if you go from the breakout I've heard mixed reviews on this. You either go from the breakout or you go from the top of the trend line itself. So if we go from the top of the trend line itself, we're looking at 479, 478 area. And if we have a breakdown, assuming, I moved my fibs. I want to keep this where it was, 424.32. Nope, that was not correct. I think it was 425.04. Yeah, that's the right, okay. All right. So if we go from the breakdown here of this rising wedge or bull flag, but if say it's a rising wedge, it looks like it comes almost perfectly down to this 0.382 at 425. Now, if it comes down and retests this 425.04, I'm putting a buy order in for sure if I can get that. That's going to be an amazing buy. In my opinion, this isn't financial advice, and you don't have to follow me, and I don't recommend you follow me. You should do your own research and your own charting. This is just kind of to help guide you a little bit on how I would chart things. But look at this overall trend, man. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I've made some amazing plays off Ethereum. I bought 6 of them at $80. Now, unfortunately, due to the psychological level that it bumped its head against for many, many times, around 285, knowing that it was coming up to that, I actually decided to sell a bunch of them, and I only left myself with 1 to run. So, I could have had massive gains, but, I've bought and sold along this whole way. So let's take another measured move here of this inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if I can figure this out so we can get a idea. So if the breakout measured move would be from the actual breakout, and say this was a breakout, and you go from that there, then we're looking right around that $413, $412 area. So I'm not sure, though. I really need to check into that. Let's fix this trend line. Whoops, I moved it. Oh, what is that trend line even doing? That trend line is kind of useless. I don't know where I had that from. This one's the correct one. Is it? No, that one doesn't look. That one looks useless, too. Where the hell did I get that from? That's doing nothing. Yep, that's doing nothing. So let's get rid of this. Sorry, I'm just going to clean my chart up real quick. Yeah, that's the one that we've had in there. So just to see, if we take a look left here, if we can figure out, if we go from this peak to where we are now, that's a beautiful little channel it looks like it's been in. There we go. That looks nice. Now, if we were to come up to that and touch that again where we are now, the first time we came up and touched it was around $480, which is funny because that's the measured move out of that potential bull flag if we do break out positive. But the actual breakout of that overall trend here, so the top of that is at $546.52. If we could come back up there, that would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You know what? For shits and giggles, let's take a look at this here. So, yep, it looks like it's the same size right there. I mean, this is beautiful. If we were to break out of this overall channel that we're in right here, let me see if I can get this thing. There it is. Whoops. I'm sorry, guys. Just bear with me here. If we were to break out of this overall channel, we're looking at a $727 Ethereum. And just for the hell of it, if we go from these 2 peaks and say we're going to come up and top out roughly at the same resistance that we hit back when you look left on the weekly, Let's see where this price target would land. $578. So, I mean, that kind of lines up with that breakout target. This is crazy. This thing's ripping, dude. I am so pumped about this project. And just looking at the TA on it, it's phenomenal. Now, these things are very volatile, and it can be very scary when you put your money in it. You could be, down one day, 50, 60, 70, even $100, and then the next day you could be up 300, and then the next day, it's definitely pretty crazy. But if you can kind of take a look at the charts, take a look at the trend, take a look at everything, I mean, it's amazing. I freaking love cryptocurrencies personally. I'm huge on them, trading them, and the overall idea of them. But as we're looking right here on the RSI, this is only on the 1 hour. It's possible we could get a little double top there, turn into a head and shoulders, and drop down. Like I said, we got those peaks up there. Take a look at the MACD for the hell of it. We're crossed up there on the daily, crossed up on the hourly. This is just fantastic. If you guys don't have any cryptocurrencies, I mean, I'm not telling you to FOMO in, and you definitely shouldn't FOMO in. I mean, these are some very, very high levels. This is very risky where we at in these ranges. You really need to know your stuff. But at the same time, I mean, the long-term longevity of these things, in my opinion, are insane. I think we're going to be using at least Bitcoin as a safe haven, if it already isn't considered one. I mean, there's some massive companies buying into these things. But you have to buy on the dips. You can't just come in here at $16,000 and buy. You can't come in on this thing at $458 and buy. Every time you see a red week where you would be afraid to get in, those are the weeks that you want to buy. Even if you're looking at Ethereum, you can just dollar cost average in. I mean, throw $50 in here and there. But, I mean, I'm kind of looking at this thing and seeing bearish divergence on the hourly for sure. As you see, the price is higher on the right and lower on the left. And on the RSI, it's the opposite. Higher on the left, lower on the right. We still have some room to come up. But if we don't come up, then we're probably going to be coming back down. So on the hourly volume, it's not very impressive for a breakout right now, seeing where we are. The RSI on the 4 hour is definitely way up there. So if we did have a breakout right now, it wouldn't be very substantial in my opinion. So I'm thinking that what's up with my freaking chart? Why is it moving all around like this? Is there a way to lock it? I know this is a long video. I'm just kind of screwing around. I just wing these videos. I'm not planning anything out. I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head and charting for you guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying all these videos I've been making. Even though I have a lot of funky shit I do with my charts and stuff, I always have problems here. I'm not the best at these trading views things. So on the 4 hourly, as you see, we have that TD9 red flash, which if you've been following me for a little bit now, you kind of understand what these mean. And we've been ignoring it, which is another reason that backs up my thought of us coming down to that 0.382 level. That fib level is very important. 0.382, 0.618, those are all very important levels. And if the market wants to give it to us, I mean, I'm going to take that opportunity. If it wants to come back down to that 425, I think it's going to be amazing. Why is this thing moving all over the freaking place? Kind of annoying. So the red TD9 flash is definitely calling for a correction. This RSI being up, I mean, we could come down to this 437.99. I would really love it if we could get this 425.04. And that would probably be consistent with this trend line here and that retest that we've been failing for many, many times. And let's take a look real quick. So if you look over here on the left, we've been coming up and pretty much double topping on this resistance and coming down and trying to test this for support 1, 2, 3 times. And we've failed every time. So are we going to fail this time? Or are we going to come down and we're going to retest it and come back up? Or are we going to come down and double touch it and then go up? It's too soon to tell what's going to happen. Are we going to double top? You know, these are all scenarios that we have to watch out for as traders, and we can't know until it happens, but we have to keep an eye on it. You could wait for a little W if you see it come down and test this trend line. You could put a buy order at the trend line. That's probably a little riskier. A nice double W on that trend line would definitely be a good confirmation. So, overall, needless to say, this thing is going to be doing big things. I highly doubt that it won't go. I highly doubt that this thing isn't going to be going anywhere but that $500 level at least. I'm liking that $700. Let's look at the MACD for the last thing. I'm sure you guys are already sleeping by now. Since this video is probably boring as shit for you. I'm sorry if it is. I love talking about this stuff. So the MACD's crossed over on the weekly. On the daily. And everything prior. But look at the weekly. We are about to get this MACD cross. This is what's going to shoot us up. This is it right here. This weekly cross. We just need to find a good position. If we're not in it, we're gonna buy from a position of strength. We're either gonna have to buy a confirmation of a breakout of 458, or we're gonna have to get this 0.382 level, something like that. Like I said, you can dollar cost average if you see this thing dip. You know a couple levels. That's it. Peace out.